Hey guys, welcome to KPM Survival and Outdoors here on YouTube. In this latest UK Prep and Man video, you are joining me at the first Midlands Outdoor and Survival Meet. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to another video, and if it's the first time you've stumbled across my channel, then welcome. It's all about prepping, survival and all that jazz, so if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to check out the other videos on the channel. Please like, share and subscribe, and of course any comments, love to hear them. But without further ado, here we are at the first Midlands Outdoor and Survival Meet, up here in sunny Derbyshire, and what a fantastic sight. Okay, so a quick look at the setup. I've got the SUV parked up next to the old faithful 9x9 patrol tent. Got the cot bed, so definitely some comfort. And the Bugout Vulcan. A little day sack. Bugout Monroe. Nothing in the water container. The reason for that, because we have one of these, and this is a Camelback squad pack, 25 litres, absolutely superb. And Viking Mitch put me onto this one that come up for sale. This was brand new, packed, never used, 2017 dated. You've just got the little spigot there. That's just been clipped onto the top there, onto the roof rack. But these are brilliant because you can just stick it on your back. It saves having to walk around with a jerry can. Now the idea behind this meet is to bring everybody together. It's to form a community and a network. And for anybody who is fairly new to having this preparedness mindset, we know that it can be daunting, because what kit do you buy? What skills do you need to learn? What scenarios are you going to plan and prep for? And yes, you can do your own research, but sometimes it works out well to see it for real and have people in front who can demonstrate the skills that are needed and the skills that should be learned, and also gives you the opportunity to have a practice. Now of course you need to have somewhere to do the demos, so an event shelter has been set up. It's nice and comfortable, plenty of space for people to listen and of course to practice. It's all in a safe environment as well. There's plenty of people here with first aid training, so everybody is safe, and as we always say, it's better to be safe than sorry. These demos will include the essentials of first aid, fire lighting, water purification, and of course we will be covering bug-out bags. The common misconception, which will be explained in the demos, is that you cannot possibly time limit a bug-out bag. The idea of a 72-hour bag, how do you possibly predict how long a scenario will last for? This will all be covered with the demos, so we'll take you along.
Utilise it, I can put my bag on it, I can break it down into component parts. But everything, as you'll see, everything in there is there to keep me and the rest of my group alive. So there'll be some pieces of kit on there that if I was just doing this lone wolf, which would be very nice but hey, doesn't happen, is what I would call a group piece of equipment. Okay, so let's break it down. So why have I got camouflage? It's a big bag. I only phrase bug-out bags or bags into big bag or small bag.
Yeah, less complicated.
So the cover acts as a camouflage, also acts as an additional rain cover, and it also holds my small bag to my big bag. This is a military concept this is called piggybacking. Why? Because it goes on the outside. The other phrase that they often use is top covering.
Top flap.
Yeah, or top flap. So it just comes off, and then this attaches, and that allows me to piggyback. It's completely empty. So that's my small rucksack. That's a 45 litre. But these come off and attach to that as well. I can tailor it to whatever I want. Water's very important, that goes on the top.
Why you got it in a mesh bag?
It's in a mesh bag because if I have to, and I've just used my mill bank and it's all wet, I can either attach my mill bank to the outside or I can put it in the mesh bag and then either top cover it because it's wet and soaking, but it'll dry out as well, as opposed to my mill bank bag going mouldy. What's the next other most important thing? Well, you may not think it, but a good pair of gloves is. Because if you grab something and slice open your hand, you've now got infection in your hand, and that is what used to kill ancient people the quickest, is getting an infection, getting blood poisoning, septicemia, and you die. So gloves are quite important, and certainly if you're not used to using your hands all the time, coming out and living in the field, you'll be doing stuff all the time, and that hands, blisters. Well, the blisters are great, but not in this sort of environment. As we've already discussed, this is the component part where I can take the rocket pouches off and make that into a rocket pouch. And when I show you my do first aid or first aid kits, you'll discover I have a med kit that also can attach to this, and also rocket packs, and I can. So it's a multi-layered system that I can then add to extract. But this is my main components.
So if you connect these together and let them run through there, stitches on these, that's 4 metres cordage then you can use to get in and out of buildings and lower kit down slopes and stuff like that.
So that's what's in the top cover. Top is stuff that I need immediately, and that's water, protection of the hands, and do I need the rest of the kit for something else. Some people in my group have got food for free, the Collins edition, and some people have the SAS Lofty Wiseman, again Collins edition, in there as well.
Zip of the lid, yeah, because that, don't want to lose it. So yeah, that was, in my day, that was an SOP, standard operating procedure. Bits of kit you had to have tied to your burger. And then in this smaller pouch, same as Roger's, I've got a fairly good first aid kit for just minor stuff for me. I've got a smaller fire kit, again, that's got a bigger loop on it. If I need to, I can chuck that around my neck, under a smock, and then in there, there's a multitude of ways of making fire. So yeah. And then some more hand warmers. I've got my water bottle thing that I showed you earlier when we were going through Rogers. Now, my 60-mile route has 2 caches on it. So the idea is, if I'm caught on the op, I can get to the first one and there will be a certain degree of kit in there that will help me get to the next one. And the next one being slightly bigger. And then the last one is just a comprehensive first aid kit in a bag that says, strangely enough, first aid, with a pair of shears on the outside. That is the cold steel Spetnet shovel. Right, it's a good piece of kit. Right, you can use that to dig holes, shell scrapes, and you can also use that for self-defence. Carabiners, just stuck onto the side of the burger to clip bits of kit on so you don't lose them. Again, gummy cord. And then that is just used as a light inside your burger so you can see the kit. So you ain't got to get your torch out, you ain't got to get your head torch out, you ain't got to go like that. You can just go like that. But mine is just very simple. A Lumo dry bag, and then my roll mat is rolled round in a circle to go inside my burger to keep everything kind of square. So that acts as kind of like a tube for that to live in. It also makes it easier for pulling it out. And then there is it folded in half. Again, it's got the press studs down the side. This is a copy of the old American Vietnam olive green woodland poncho. Yeah, that's been around forever and a day. It's in ripstop material. I've done on the corners is put elastics. They give your grommets more life. In stronger weather, you ain't going to have that bust out on it. And I again have sewn in what we call jungle loop line. So yeah, instead of having a bungee cord on it, we've got this. So you find a tree, you go around the tree, and then you put this. People do it with or without this, and then it just goes back through it on here. And all you do is you go around your tree or your post. See the knots on it?
Yeah.
You can put the knots in wherever you like. And all I've done with this is that goes through there, right, and then that's it. That's it, locked. It's going nowhere. And when you want to undo it, just go like that. Right, so again, sleeping bag. So Roger's got a yank one. I've got an older style British one, but this is what's known as a diagonal zip bivvy bag. Right, I think they still make them. But as you can see, that's in green, and it goes from corner to corner.
That if you're utilising an axe or a machete or any other major tool, the bigger the blade, the more power it is able to maintain or go, the bigger the wound is going to be. So you're not going to cover something like that if you accidentally slip and take off half your kneecap. You'll need something substantial. And this is what they call an IFAC, an individual first aid kit. So you want to get to the kit straight away, and it's usually got Velcro and then it opens up. And one of the things then that's available first off is a good set of shears, because you want to be able to cut the jacket or the trousers so you can expose the wounds. So this is called an emergency dressing. It's the 4-inch model. It's much smaller. They go into the side pockets here, but also it's a bandage and it's elasticated. So what you can do is then place the main pad on the wound itself, and we've got to have skin to skin contact for the dressings to start to work. One of the dressings you can get is what they call a hemostatic dressing, and a hemostatic dressing is useful in that it starts to clot the blood. So it's a normal dressing, but it has a special substance impregnated into it, and that's based on shellfish, but they've removed all the proteins. I tend to like these. These are what's issued to the military. These are the Russell chest seals. They used to say in the first aid books, oh, you're going to cover it using a piece of plastic, and the reason that's gone out for the general public is that you couldn't get a good enough seal around it to cause it to stick properly, and so that was the problem. So people were using bits of plastic and bodge tape, and effectively when I was in the military that's what we were told. That's now out, so for any injury involving the lungs, you don't actually cover it according to the regulations now. And the reason being, the general public or individuals can't form a good enough seal, so you actually need a specialised piece of kit. So that's what they've realised. So I'm going to take it off actually.
What's the maximum time you can apply it for?
You are going to apply it and never take it off. So that's the current methodology around it now, is that you put it on and don't take it off. One of the things then has a double zip system, and then you're exposed. As you can see, there's more equipment within there because I've got more space. So in the top half I tend to have things, normal bandaging to treat some of the minor bleeds that I may encounter. So I tend to have, as most first aid kits, I tend to have 3 very large of these bandages and dressings. I then have another good set of shears. I have some clamps, hemostatic clamps, and I have then 6 mediums and then 2 eye coverings. So again, I've got hygiene and I've got breathing that side. So you try and take your kit in that when you pull it together, you want airway bleeding, and then things like circulation. So what's going on? In this case then, I've gone for minor bleeds first because that's what I'm hoping I'm dealing with first. Are you getting colder? And so there's an all-weather or NATO blanket. I showed people this So I use it as a ground sheet, but I also have it moving my first aid kit. It's quite robust. Those normal flimsier hypothermic blankets are not that great. So again, it depends upon, are you still having heat within the core body where I can use this to reflect the heat back in you, or have I got to utilise other people's equipment, or have I got to get you in a sleeping bag or insulate you from the ground? And again, I'll use the kit mat for that.
The thin ones are usually one use as well, aren't
Yep,
they?
that's a multiple use. You're never going to get it back in the bag, and usually because you're a bit scared as well, no matter what people say, oh yeah, I've done this before, when you're all finger and thumbs and you're scared, what will happen is you'll, on the worst day of your life, while you're trying to see something you care about, you'll end up ripping the bag half to bits as well. These are a little bit more robust. If you rip this, you are really, really scared, and you're doing really well. But I usually can then repair it because it's got more strength and it's got grip stock in it. So I have the 2 tourniquets that I can grab, so more bleeds. So I have 2 of those that are equally present. And then I have my trauma bag, and again, what you'll discover, I have the bleed all together. More haemostatics, more of the smaller Israeli bandages, and they're just velcroed in so I can visualise them. I have a SAM splint, and SAM splints are also useful for things like, so the other side of that nice hillock there, there is a big drop. And if you fall down and you damage your neck, I can then utilise this to then, as an emergency splint around your neck to try and hold it in place. I can use it, it's a flexible splint called the SAM splint. These are really useful. You can then use it to immobilise the leg or immobilise the arm and try and keep it straight through the process. I pick these up for about £10. So they're quite good. You can get these in bright orange as well. I'm not a bright orange man, I'll be perfectly honest. And these are, again, these are CAT, Combat Application Tourniquets. These are the older, these are Generation 5 ones. You can get Generation 7. If you can get hold of and it says Gen 7 on them, those are the best you can get. Most companies. So they found that what happened in certain weather conditions, the plastic there, certainly with military people, when they get scared, they can over tighten it, and what they can do then is snap the windlass off. So the Gen 7s tend to have I've never snapped one off, but hey. Just be wary, there are some fake ones of these knocking around on the internet, so if you really want these, I would suggest 1, you get more training on it, but 2, you then look to see where you're getting them from, suppliers, so MedSafe, Qual Safety, you can order stuff. It's also got my airway management within here as well, so again it's a bigger module. So what's one of the things then that I've got for airway, or it's an oral pharyngeal airway, so I've got an airway system. So yeah, and you actually have to measure these. So I've got the 3 typical types, and these are usually for adults, and that's the orange, red and green. And what you would do is you'd measure, and you measure from the bottom of the earlobe to the front of the jaw. Is it the right distance? And I was always taught to check, well I know that nut's a little too big. Yeah, that's about right, so I'm probably going to be an orange. So again, pass those around. Again, so you can only put those in if you're trained to do it. So oral pharyngeal airways are good, but they're not brilliant. The reason being because if you would only put an oral pharyngeal airway in on an unconscious casualty, so they're out of it totally, because I'm going to have to put it through the back at the back of your throat. The moment it hits the back of your tonsil, your gag reflex will kick in. So if you're conscious, you might end up with a yellowy substance going all over you that's a bit stinky with peas and carrots in it. So if the casualty's totally unconscious, they're a good element to then have. It open maintains the airway. I'm trying to get hold of some nasal pharyngeal airways, and they're a little bit more tricky to get hold of, the oral ones. So are they good? Yes. Are they good for unconscious casualties? Absolutely. But if you're fluctuating in and out of unconsciousness, what they tend to happen is they start choking on it, then have to put it out. branches again, I've got to reinsert it, so you're in and out all the time instead of focusing on other aspects. The other thing that I have is I may never know who you are in the first place, so I tend to have these pocket masks. These are very useful. You may not want to do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on the casualty part of the CPR process. The advantage is that you can then utilise put that over the face. It even has a little arrow that says nose, and what that does is cause a seal, and then I can utilise that and blow through. And the upside of these is because it's off the face as opposed to the cheaper versions where it's basically a plastic bag and a filter. If you're giving off a lot of saliva, blood, or you're sick on it, I can't use it ever again. I need a new one. This I can just scoop your peas and carrots out, flick it off a couple of times, and then put it back on. They're not that expensive, they do vary. I tend to like these ones. These are Lardale, they've been around for years and years and years, and these are about 15 quid.
I've got the disposable one about what they call it.
Yeah, I have them in work first aid kits. This is mine that I would then utilise. I know it's not, in this country you don't have to have a first aid kit in your car, but we've all got an awful lot of population density. On a regular basis people crash the cars and do all sorts of things, cause chaos, and it does take a while for the emergency services. You may want to be a good Samaritan if you're trained to do so, and help people out. That's entirely up to you. The other side is that if there is a major shift event, I've got the medical kit with me, it's in the car. I can then, if I'm using the car as a means of portage, for transport, that's great. If I haven't, I then have the ability to then strap it onto my oxygen again. So again, that's my methodology behind it. Again, to do with airway, I have a couple of chest seals in there as well, for any sucking chest wounds or a collapsed lung. Oh, and there's my other airway in there. So airway, it could be that actually it's more of a burn, and hey, I haven't got any water with me, so a burn gel. If you, again, I would always recommend people have water bottles with you, but it doesn't do any harm to have some burn gel within there as well. So, I'll give you that one, and you can then pass that around.
Would you secondary this to water?
Water is always primary. People are less likely to have an allergic reaction to it. So the modern methodologies for cleaning out wounds tends not to use the wipes at all really, it's more of a sluicing. So if I've got a water bottle, I'm going to sluice it away. The downside is it then removes any clotting process, but it cleans out the wound as well.
You can get Iripods cheap enough as well, for
Yep.
just a few of them in a packet. More than enough, wouldn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. But again, so this is for mainly for the burns element side of things, and then I have some more of the minor stuff. So I have some more again plasters. I have good old-fashioned Gorilla Tape. I found then if you're using a lot of the micropore tape or some of the zinc oxide, it doesn't stick very well. Certainly if you're in the middle of nowhere, a good bit of Gorilla Tape on a roll usually sticks most things to anything. So it's again quite useful. Again there I've got the disposable airways in case things happen. I've got some moleskin for minor blisters against infection, and also a little syringe to then utilise as sluicing, and if I think the water is a bit suspect as well, I'm going to drop a Puritab in there as well, and again so blisters within there. So minor stuff, but quite useful. I also then have a tick device that you then put on if you've been bitten by something, that then stuns it. So again, useful piece of kit, they're not very expensive. So if you then put that on your skin and then hit it, what it does is send a minor charge into the electrical charge and stuns the area, and then you can't feel the itching and stuff, so I think they're quite good. And I have the obligatory safety pins. So this is this little bag here has a lot of the minor additional support stuff, just in case there's a so 2 is 1, 1 is none, as they say. So if I'm relying on these, I'll need multiple of those. If I'm relying on that and there's a problem, I'll then reach for this. So again, it's just a backup, because I've got the space to then do it. I then have, again, bleeding, and some more dressings around that, so solvents. And then once I've got some of the dressings on, I might want to hold it on place. The downside of using tape or anything that doesn't move is the tissue then starts to swell. It could act as a tourniquet, so I've got a couple of crepe bandages in, a more hemostatic dressing. So again, bleed. Oh, and there's my other oral pharyngeal airway. So effectively, that's the my first aid trauma kit to help people deal with elements around that. I am going to add some more kit to this. I have some wound closures and various other bits in that bag, but I need something more to do, more suturing to them, which I need a skill set I need to learn. Or I might go for the zip ties or a bit of super through. But again, so that's the whole element around first aid kits. And having the kit and all the gear and no idea is not useful. When it comes to first aid, you need to know your doctor ABC, your primary survey, you need to know your secondary survey, you need to know what you're looking out for, and out on the hills about thermoregulation, so you're hypothermic or you're hyperthermic, and generally how to do insulation. So people go, well, how important is first aid? Well, actually very important. It's second only to breathing, because I can only survive anywhere between 3 and 5 minutes for a lack of oxygen before I start getting on the cellular level problems within the brain dies off. And I need the red stuff to then travel it around. If you're leaking it out, it's not good. I need to contain it within the body, because otherwise you're not getting oxygen until somebody else helps you. That's if the help comes. So if we have something like a major event, or I'm in the middle of nowhere, or I have a multiple car pileup, or some very smart people have decided to drive their BMW at 90 miles an hour in the back of a articulated lorry that's stationary on the fast lane, that's probably not a good idea. The common that's around is a no-bag bag. So a no-bag bag removes some of the large particulates, so it's pre-filtered. So what's the advantage of pre-filtering? The advantage of pre-filtering is it elongates the life of my filter. So this is my typical system that I tend to use. Pre-filtering. The other thing that you don't want to get mixed up is your dirty water and your clean water. So you want something that's distinct, that you know that's always going to have your dirty water in. And I tend to like this CNOC bladder system for my dirty water. The other advantage is if you're a prepper or things gone horribly wrong, you're very vulnerable around a water source. The advantage of this is that you can then pull it off, open it up, and then what I can do is scoop the water in and run off into the... I have a slightly different head torch that only uses one battery, and I've got enough to see me, because getting home 80, 90 miles or 100 miles is going to take me a week. That's it, there's nothing else in there. When I open up the top, I normally have that black jacket I take to work, and that's with me every day, but there may be an occasion where I haven't got one, so I have a very lightweight Gore-Tex jacket there as well. It's just to put on in case I haven't got one. So I have a bit of a uniform. I keep these boots in the car, and this bag is always hidden in the boot of the car. So the first thing out of the bag is my toiletry kit, because again I haven't got this theme about going for pooping, but it's a human thing, so you may want to do that. And it's got hand sanitizer and everything else in there, so there we go. And then it's sealed, it's in a sealed bag. I have the chance to use a gas cooker system. So I have two smaller bags. Because I'm wearing the stuff I need for work. It's black nylon, I have a fleece with it. So one of the things is I have my tinderbox kit, again because I may need to start a fire on the way home. I'm hoping not to. I have a compass in there, and this time it's a sighting compass. So it's a Sunto MC2. And then I have an AA road map, because I can never know where I'm going to be because of my job. I do have some matches, and then hey look, ferrocerium rod, big is best, with a magnesium block, and also a can opener, because you don't want to carve up your knife to use a can opener. The other thing that I've got in here is this, which is the bottom of a stainless steel milk jug, because the dragon gel has become more and more popular, or hand sanitizer is more and more popular, so I can squirt hand sanitizer in there, which is in also the toiletry kit if I run out of stuff, and set it on fire and then use it to make my brew or kit. The only piece of warm gear I've got is the Swagman roll. It can go underneath the poncho if it's that cold, and if I'm getting chilly I'm going to get some food down my neck, but then I might keep going, because as long as I'm moving I'm not going to get hypothermic. So that's the idea behind it. It's going to take me a week, so I've got a week's worth of food, so there's 7 days worth of food again, and that weighs 10 pounds whether I like it or not. Food is heavy. Oh, and look, socks, more socks. Yeah. So what else is going on the outside? So I have, you've seen it before, canteen. So you'll see that I tend to use the same kit. Why am I using the same kit? Well, I'm using the same kit because familiarisation with that kit. And people go, well, how many of these have you got? Well, I've got 6, and people start going, well, that's a bit crazy. Well, everybody in my group's got the same kit, because if they didn't want to participate, somebody who knows how to use it can pass on the same knowledge. It becomes quick to teach on the spot if required. If you've got multiple kit, it gets more and more difficult for a family group. Crossing line, and meths, and the other thing is I've got a penny stove, and I made this myself. It's crushed down slightly. So a penny stove. You pour the meths in there, set fire to it, and then you put it under your cooker unit. And people are going, oh, okay, where's your spare cooker unit? Well, my spare cooker unit actually sits, familiar water bottle, familiar cup, except here is the cooker unit. There you go.
So the Midlands meet is now coming to a close. Don't worry if you've missed it, because we'll be announcing dates very shortly for the next Midlands Outdoor and Survival Meet. So stand by, keep an eye on the YouTube channels, of course the social media. We hope to see you soon. So there we have it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and remember, of course, you can follow me on Instagram, where you'll see additional channel related content along with regular updates. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out the other videos on the channel. Please like, share, subscribe at the bottom. Of course, any comments, love to hear them. Be prepared, stay prepared, and until next time, thanks for watching. Bye for now.